The sunshine has gone and turned to rain. We've got a new government. Yes, Labour are in. I've got a new haircut, a fancy mullet. But some things never change. And it's 9 o'clock and it's a Saturday morning, which means it's time for the Monster Magic Saturday Show. Let's do this.
Wake up, it's a beautiful morning. Feel the sun shining for your eyes.
Woohoo! Good morning, everybody. What a damp squib of a morning. I really wasn't expecting this when I woke up. But yes, so it is Monster Magic Saturday Review Show. And while Keir Starmer is getting his IT sorted out and hopefully we'll be able to log in on Monday morning, I'm going to run through some of the latest tricks to hit the Monster Magic website. And first up, we have Visualise by Liam Montier. This is basically a self-working triumph effect with a powerful punch. You take a deck of cards and you turn half of the cards face up, keep the other half face down and mix them together. You then ask your participants while your back is turned to cut any face-up card to the top of the deck. They then remember that card, turn it over and stick it back in the middle of the deck where it is lost. You then immediately turn round and name their card. And then as a kicker, you spread through the deck to show that all of the cards are face up apart from their chosen card. This is, it's the classic triumph. It's a self-working triumph. What you get in here is actually a very common gaff deck. I can't really show it to you. But I've got it in Red Bicycle. It's a very common, can't get it out, that's why I can't show it to you. And it's off the shelf and it is mostly used for a self-working triumph. That's pretty much the routine most people do with it. There are other people who've done some brilliant routines with it. Jeff Sheridan has a nice little couple of routines with it, as does Michael Close. And in fact, just using this deck, I did a little 10-minute act at the Magic Circle a few years ago. That might have got a bit boring. But what Liam has done, I think, is really, really clever. He's combined it with Paul Curry's Think of a Card from 1948. And that means that you can turn around and you can name their card before spreading through all of the cards, showing them all face down apart from their selection. And I think that is such a super powerful moment. Otherwise, this deck is really, it's a £7 regular gimmick deck you can get off the shelf. But with Liam's routine, that really does elevate the standard triumph. Liam does actually teach the standard self-working triumph using this deck, which is great. Really nice to have that, especially if you've got these mixed up and you don't want to bother resetting it. You can just do the standard version. He's also got a really nice handling of how to get into it, which is very, very clean and looks much less suspicious than the traditional method of cutting these decks in half to turn over the face up and face down cards. So that is very good, very clever and smart thinking by Liam. And really, once the deck is shuffled face up and face down and in your participants' hands, they are doing all of the dirty work for you whilst your back is turned. So it's a lot of fun to perform as well. Liam does go on to teach a couple of other tricks as well. A version of Game Law by Roy Walton, which was a pretty heavy sleight of hand trick. Roy Walton knew his way around a deck of cards. As a complete project, I think this is marvellous. I do like this gaff deck. A lot of people don't play with it enough. It's sort of hidden amongst the more popular invisible decks and Svengalis and so on. But it is really, really versatile. And it's great that Liam has shown that. And it's great that Liam has combined the Paul Curry effect with this deck to create Visualise, which I think is a really, really strong, powerful trick. When you can turn around and just name the card that they've selected and lost in the deck without doing anything ostensibly at all, that is a real jaw-dropping moment that they're not expecting. They are expecting you to look through the deck or do something fiddly, and you just don't. And then obviously the actual triumph effect of their card being turned over is more of a kicker than an effect in itself. The one downside is that you don't end clean, but they have handled the deck. Your participant has had them in their hands and they've gone through them and felt them. So there's really no suspicion on the cards at all. Liam's teaching is super clear, lots of clarity in every little part that you need to do this trick. Even though it is virtually self-working, everything is taught in detail. I think it's a great little project, and I really hope once you've got this deck in your hand, you let your imagination run wild, do a little bit of research and see what else you can come up with. It is also very sensibly priced. It is Visualise by Liam Montier, just $21.99. Next up, it is Supervision Cube by Julio Montoro. This is Julio's take on the classic Vision Cube. Some of you might remember it from your first Magic set. It has been around for a very, very long time, and I personally love it. I think it was one of those tricks that I was shown actually in International Magic by Marco many moons ago, and it fooled me completely. I was terribly disappointed when I knew the secret, and I thought the secret was so easy and obvious that I didn't buy it despite having been completely fooled. I think it is a great trick. Marlowe has got some work on it in his book Arcade Dreams, so if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me for sure. This is slightly different. This is a 3-phase routine. The first phase is very much traditional to the classic Vision Cube. In the second phase, your participant randomly puts the dice in the box behind their back, then has a little peek to see what they've chosen, and you then name it without handling the box. And in the third phase, neither of you know which way up the dice is, but you name it correctly. It's a really, really nice way of expanding the Vision Cube and making it more fooling, probably for magicians. As I said, as a layperson, I think you can be fooled by the Vision Box as it is, but it adds some phases and it does build up as a routine to become more impossible. Let me show you what you get in here. So the box and the lid are injection molded as far as I can tell. It's quite a small box, which is a bit of a shame. I like a slightly bigger box for this trick because you know, if you're showing it one-on-one it's fine, but for around the table and for a group and for usual close-up performances, I'd like something a little bit bigger. And black's a bit of a boring color. Being very fussy today, aren't I? Very fussy. The cube that you get comes like this. It's completely unmarked as it is, and it looks slightly homemade, certainly before you've put all of the stickers in it. And this is something that slightly annoys me a little bit. It all looks a little bit rough, ready, a little bit Airfix kit to me. And then you get the stickers and so on. So you have to sticker the cube yourself, and you write on here the numbers or the letters that you want, and then you stick them on to the cube. And once you've got it all stickered up, and assuming your handwriting is fine, it looks okay. It does look pretty good. And then you're good to go into the routine. The tutorial is by Julio, and the first phase, which is the classic Vision Box phase, Julio teaches, but he misses out on all of the glory of what makes the Vision Box so fooling. All of the motivation for turning round. So when he does it, he takes the box facing the participant, then puts it behind his back for really no good reason whatsoever, brings it out, puts it back behind his back, and so on. Whereas when you're doing the Vision Box, you turn around whilst they decide which way, so they're putting the cube in the box so you can't see, and then they hand it back to you into your hand. As you turn around, you do all the dirty work, and there's just some really nice handling and the way of doing it that just isn't taught by Julio, which is a shame, because you can get a lot of mileage out of just doing a couple of the Vision Box phases first. This box is all right for the Vision Box. It's not particularly slick, and like I say, it's a little bit small. But then you go into the gimmick phases and they work really nicely. The gimmick works pretty much as I was expecting, but it's very straightforward. You just have to put your hands behind your back, and all of that stuff is motivated and it's taught. And it's taught thoroughly by Julio, and it's nice that you can actually clean it up as well. So at the end, they are left with the cube and the box that they can examine. There's also a few bonus ideas in there, or if you want to force an item like a sweet or a number perhaps, and also an anagram idea if you have 4 or 5 of these boxes, which would be complete and utter financial nonsense. The method I actually like, and it is something I have toyed with a little bit, as well as I do know someone else, and we've discussed this, just never really got around to it. I do love the extra phases. I do like the power of it. I'm just not happy with the execution particularly. For me, the big problem is the price, certainly for what you get, and with the routine there are just alternatives. So for me, you've got the 4K Vision Box by Brent Braun. This, you still get to do the one where the participant has just put the cube in the box behind their back. You don't look at it, they don't look at it, and you still name it. The box is that little bit bigger. The dice are really, really nice, and the teaching is superb. And this is just $17.99. Before I go, one of my idea was to do it with a Rubik's Cube. This is my Rubik's Cube Vision Box idea. So you do that. That was something I was going to produce early on. It's been sitting on a shelf ever since. So there are alternatives out there. You can obviously customize the cube. It doesn't have to be numbers or letters. It can be colors or objects, anything you like. You get these stickers. You can buy more of these if you search that very big shop online, so that's not a problem. So you can really play with it, and it might be that this is more versatile than I'm giving it credit for. And in fact, Michael Murray of Mind Effects has hinted that he's got some good ideas using it. So you'll get those ideas if you buy it from him. So it might well be worth popping over to Mind FX to buy it. It's a good idea. It's just expensive. Yes, that is Supervision Cube by Julio Montoro, $42.99. You're not going to believe it, but I have remembered to do the draw for the competition. Yes, the pot of destiny is back. The saucepan of selection is here to choose who has won Jupiter by Thomas Bader, worth a whopping £55. Here we go. All your names are in there. They're all shaking up. Thank you very much for your comments. It's great to hear what you found under the table. I'm certainly worried about the sort of parties that Adrian Tritton goes to. But here we go. And the winner is... Oh. Diane TV. Diane TV, congratulations. You have won Jupiter by Thomas Bader. Please get in touch with me at info@monstermagic.co.uk. Give me your name and address and I will send you Jupiter. And now we've got Music Madness by Mariano Goni. Yes, this has been selling out absolutely everywhere. I think I'm probably the only shop to have this in stock. You introduce your participant to a deck of cards that have songs written on them, 3 songs on each card. They get a free choice of any card that they like and a free choice of any song on that card. That card is then lost back in the deck. You then say you've got an invisible cassette that's in your phone. You put the phone on their hands, you click the fingers, and the song that they're merely thinking of starts playing on the phone. And the phone has this nice little cassette image rolling around on it as well, which you can choose an alternative if you want. But I really, really like that. I love an audio reveal. I think it's a great little kicker. There's something very retro about having that cassette playing that I really, really like. And the fact that it's a free choice, it's all super clean. It is an app for your phone, is one half of the trick, and that is very easy to install. It's on Android, it's on iOS. It was very easy. The tutorial by Mariano, it's not his first language. English is not his first language, but he does get through it, and you've got all of the visuals as well and all of the close-ups of the screen as he works his way through it, so it's very easy to follow. Even I managed to get it on my Android phone. So that is simple. There's a few settings, nothing very complicated, mainly sort of colors or what image you want playing. If you don't want the cassette playing, there are other options. And that's basically it. And then you just have the deck of cards. And this is really where it falls down. Oh, must say, so the input method as well is particularly cunning. I thought it was going to be a bit clunky. I was a bit worried when doing it, but actually I've got it quite smoothly. Eventually, with a bit of practice, I think the input method is pretty smart, pretty clever, and very fooling. So it looks like you haven't even unlocked your phone and it starts playing. The cards are where this all falls down for me. There's just something about it. So the box is fine. The box looks, I mean, it's all right. It's not very detailed. It just says music and cards on there, which is just that little bit lazy. And then you've got this sort of idea that this is some sort of game to name the cards. So you've got cards from the last 50 odd years, songs from the last 50 odd years, 3 on each card. The faces are nicely printed. And what you have is the name of the song and the artist, but not the complete artist's name. And the idea is it's some sort of, I have to do what I know, it's some sort of game where you'd say the song Sorry, and they'd have to say Justin Bieber. It doesn't really work as a game. There's no hint really that it is a proper game. The justification for having these cards is just not there. It's just hook 'em. It might vaguely work. To be fair, no one's actually brought this up, so it does fly, but I think they're just missing something with that, because if you think of tricks like Simon Says, or even some of the stuff that Craig Petty has brought out recently, when you've got a deck of cards that genuinely look like something that you might buy in your newsagents, or a game you might use to play when you're traveling, it really adds a nice little hook and a nice little presentation, and you can't do that with these because the game just doesn't really exist, if you see what I mean. You can't play it. And then you've got the backs, and the backs are just ordinary playing card backs, which again throws off the idea that these aren't in some way special cards. Again, no one's brought this up. It's just me being annoyed. It will all fly. So it's not so much the idea of being caught out that I'm bothered with. It's just missed opportunities to make this have a real presentation hook, have some real fun with it, and turn it into something other than just a very quick trick. And the backs of these cards are in fact marked, and they're marked using a script that sort of blends in to the back of the cards, and I find them very, very hard to read. The real trick of having markings is that no one suspects a marking, because you can read it nice, quickly, at a simple glance, and not have to go back or stare. With these, I've found myself double checking, needing to be sure. I do need reading glasses. I'm not as young as I once was, so I'm possibly being a little bit harsh. In the tutorial, Mariano does go through how to get the glance of and read the back of the cards, how to have the card returned so that you can do that. That does work. Possibly controlling the card to the top with a little false shuffle, so you get a bit more time to look at it, is another way to go. Or just have the cards in numerical order, and then you can look down at the deck whilst they're looking and choosing their song, which is probably my preferred method. That is just a bit of a shame. It's not a showstopper, because like I say, there are workarounds for it, but it's just annoying. It is really, really annoying. Why that back isn't designed more like the front with Music Madness card game written on it, perhaps lots and lots of years, perhaps lots and lots of numbers. Look at the work that Phil Smith has done for Craig recently. You could have had a very, very easy marking system on the back of this and made this look more genuinely like something you would purchase from something other than a magic shop. Just very, very annoying, especially when I think the actual app and the phone section, the technological side of it, is so clever. The cards should really have been the easiest bit, especially when there are so many examples out there. It's still great fun to perform. The music reveal is lovely. The retro cassette is fine. You can still play on the ideas of songs from the past. You can still engage people with musical interests and songs that they know. It's all still possible, but it's just made a little bit harder to do. And just, it's on the verge of being brilliant. And instead, I can't help but feel let down. It's lovely that it's in their hands when it starts playing. It's a real surprise, and obviously everyone in a group can hear it. You can even tie it into a speaker if you've got Bluetooth, make it that little bit louder, a little bit more dramatic. Certainly if you're on stage, that would look great. I think it's crying out for a Music Madness 2.0. This one for me just skips a beat, I'm afraid. But the good news is I have plenty in stock, and they are nicely reduced to just $45.99. That is Music Madness by Mariano Goni. And now we've got something of a blast from the past. It is FrankenDo by Roddy McGhie. This I absolutely love, and I've loved it for the best part of 9 years. I can't remember when Roddy did his Penguin Live lecture, but he taught this. He actually showed you how to make it. He said partway through the lecture he didn't know why he was bothering, because no one was going to go through the trouble. Well, fortunately I lived down the road from Prop Dog, so I got to make one, and I had so much fun with it. It's been re-released because Penguin brought it out years ago, but there was a problem with the clay. The clay kept on drying out. They kept on having to replace it. It was a nightmare. Now that problem has been solved. If you don't know the effect, you have your participant sign one side of a coin and you sign the other. You then introduce a ball of modelling clay. You put the ball of modelling clay in the palm of your hand and the coin at the base of your thumb. Then you cover the ball of the modelling clay and a little hand comes out and snatches the coin. You then give the ball of modelling clay to your participant, who can open it up, and inside the ball is their signed coin. It is such an engaging and entertaining, fun, quirky trick. I can't really say enough about it. The way the hand comes out, actually the design of the hand is terrific. Let me just show you the hand. Here you go. So it is that is the gimmick, essentially. That is the gimmick. The design of the hand really does look like it belongs to a little bit of Play-Doh. This gimmick is as ever attributed to Bob Farmer. Whether that's right or not, I don't know, but I do admire Bob Farmer for sticking to his guns, claiming it's his original invention and still getting credit for it, especially in this day and age where lots of tricks are being borrowed and vaguely modified and no credit being given. So that's great. And then you get the modelling dough as well. Now this is actually just a pot of Play-Doh, so if you do need to replace it, you're absolutely fine. You can just pop to the toy shop and get some more. You want to be carrying it around in this pot though anyway, because I think Roddy points out in the Penguin lecture that, you know, you don't want this stuck on your cords. It's a nightmare to get out of carpets or anything like that, so keep it in the pot. The tutorial is actually by Eric Tate. There really are only two tricky sort of moments in the effect. One is a very, very simple coin switch, which Eric teaches very clearly. And then there's just the case of making the hand come out of the modeling clay, which you'll get used to. It's where you put the ball in the palm of your hand, which finger you prefer having the hand on. Once you've got all that, a little bit of practice and you'll be fine. It's more of a knack that you just need. So a bit of Eric's beard in my mouth. You do need to pop to your pockets a couple of times during the routine, so you need a little bit of pocket management, but all of that is motivated thanks to needing to get the pen for the coin to be signed and so on. What I will emphasize is I think it's really important you give them the clay to roll into the ball before you put it into the palm of their hand. That creates a lot more mystery, gets them involved, and it makes them think that their coin can possibly be in that ball of clay. The moment the hand comes out is just terrific. I love the way Eric points out to have the hand come out slowly and then whiz back in as if it's been a little bit sneaky. Getting the hand on your finger is also a little bit of a knack, but these things are all worth practicing and rehearsing to get smoothly, because this effect is absolute dynamite and something no one will have ever seen before. The only other thing I'll say is you probably want to be doing this with a 5p piece. In the tutorial, Eric talks about having an extra little thing that you can stick to a coin that isn't ferrous, and also some material should the hand be too big for your finger. But that doesn't seem to be included anyway. I don't know what happened. I've opened a couple of these and they don't have them in, so I just think they've changed their mind. And the thing is that this is a nice soft material, and even it's slightly too big for my little finger perhaps, but I have got very small hands. I do apologize if I've been rude at any point during this demonstration. I've got very little fingers, I've got small hands, and this fits on all of the fingers, just a little bit loose on the little one. Now what you can do is just get a plaster and just put a plaster, not even all the way around, maybe just on a halfway round, just a little semicircle of plaster, and that'll probably make it fit. But it's quite flexible, it's quite pliable, so I think it's pretty much a one size fits all situation. FrankenDo is one of Roddy's best creations. It's easy to do, it's enthralling, it's entertaining, it will capture everyone's attention, and you can really talk about Play-Doh and little monsters and anything like that. I'm super thrilled it is back on the shelves. It is available from me at Monster Magic, but if you want to support Roddy directly, it is available from his and Noel's new website, tricktrickboom.com, so you can support the creator if you wish. That is FrankenDo by Roddy McGhie, $32.99.
I think I ought to see a doctor. Oh, why do you say that? I'm beginning to like the show.
And that's it for today's show, I'm afraid. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've tried to include a fair bit of variety. I am now off to buy an umbrella, but I will, and I encourage you to do the same. Gonna grab some magic, go out there and have some fun with the best hobby in the world. Bye bye.